Et on est de retour sur la donne et sur les interviews et je vais switcher en anglais puisque je suis en compagnie de deux personnes qui travaillent chez Raw Fury et d'une personne qui ne comprendra pas si je continue à parler en français. So I'm gonna switch and I'm happy to have you two with me today. Yeah. So we have Sarah and Roland. You both work at Raw Fury and you're here for a conference if I don't mistake.
Yes.
Yes. Are you stressed?
Yes.
But not for this one, right? Not for this interview.
Yeah, a bit too.
It'll be fine.
The conference will be worst.
Yes.
I think.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna start with the first question. Is there a game that you fell in love with when you were young and maybe made you want to work in the video game industry?
You want to start?
Oh, well, sure. When I was growing up, I mean, there wasn't a games industry in this regard. I mean, so you didn't really think about, I can work in games, you know, when I was a kid. So
I didn't think you were that old.
I'm 42.
Really? Okay.
But of course, I got really, really inspired playing games. And there is one particular, called Mech Warrior. Because I saw a video for that once, like a trailer, and it was a live action trailer. And it blew me away. It was so cool. So I remember that to this day. So that might have been one of those things.
I love live action trailers.
Me, first I didn't want to work in video games. I wanted to work for movies. So I don't have a game that inspired me, but I played a lot at Ocarina of Time, Zelda, when I was a kid, and I really liked the way they tell the story. And I think I always kept that in my mind. And yeah, but I don't have a game particularly. Yeah.
Awesome. And do you remember maybe the first game you played? It's hard, yeah.
Ice Climber or Super Mario.
Ice Climber, yeah.
Probably on the NES, but no. It's way back. I had a ColecoVision, which is a very old console, and there was something called like Mousetrap on it. Basically, it was a clone of Pac-Man. I think that was the first one. Yeah.
It was a game, I don't remember the name. I played with my dad, a game with dragons, dragon lore or dragon something, a very old game. And yeah, it's my first, I think my first game, yeah.
Awesome. So you both worked at Raw Fury. When I wrote the question, I did a mistake with the name of your jobs, but you actually both have the same job, but you work together. But you joined recently, and you are at Raw Fury since 6 years?
6 years, yeah.
Yeah. And what is your job, actually? Can you explain what you do on a daily basis?
I mean, it's funny because I get this question a lot from like relatives. They ask, so you work with computers? And I say, I use a computer for work, but I don't work with computers. Oh, so what do you do? I make trailers for games. They're like, and they just zone out and they're like, yeah, I work with computers. Yeah. What do we do, sir?
We are trying to, I don't know, do a video to sell a game, to summarize a game in 1 minute. Yeah, I think we can.
I mean, marketing promotional material for any games that we publish at Raw Fury. The video team there, which is 5 people, will try to make trailers in different forms, shapes and forms for those to sell the games. That's what we do.
Okay. You said the 1 minute. Do you always have a timer? Like you have to do between 1 and 1:30, or 2 minutes, or 5 minutes?
Depends on the trailers, but 1 minute is
short.
It's kind of, well, it's long now.
Really?
I mean, when I started in the industry 20 years ago, trailers were 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 minutes. My first trailer was, I think, 2.5 or something like that. You could not do that today, really. It has to be short, much shorter. So 60 seconds is like the new long, and shorter the better. Attention spans have changed. And
10 seconds.
Yeah, well, the shortest I've done is
yeah.
like 7 seconds. That's the shortest I've done. Yeah.
And
Wow.
every time, even if we have a 1 minute trailer, we do short version of 50 seconds and 30 seconds. So, yeah.
Oh, I remember doing GIFs.
GIF.
GIF.
GIFs for the social networks or social media. Like you do a big trailer and then you cut very small parts to tease people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the time of time catcher. How do we say it?
Attention grabbing.
Attention grabbing. Yeah.
Yeah, we even did teasers for trailers when I was working at DICE. So that was even sillier, but you know, you're teasing a trailer.
So you have to work for ADHD. ADHD people all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it does. You just need to capture people's attention in the first 5 to 7 seconds. Otherwise, they will click away and they will watch something else.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very crucial that you do something very attention grabbing in the beginning, and then you can do your own thing afterwards. It didn't used to be like this, but now it is. Yeah.
Do you have rules that like something that you studied, something you learned, or something you realized by yourself? Like after 10 seconds, we can take our time, and then at 30 seconds, there must be something big, and then at the end, I don't know. Are there like things, rules or?
Yeah, there's of course a structure, a basic structure for trailers. What I learned is that people don't listen trailer with sound.
What? Really?
On social media.
Uh-huh.
So this is a problem.
So subtitles?
Yeah,
Not necessarily?
not necessarily. And I learned that you have 5 seconds to catch the attention of the audience.
Yeah, and it depends on the audience as well. I mean, if it is something for social media or for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, I mean, it will change depending on, the rules change depending on the audience.
So do you do a different trailer depending on if it's used for Twitter, if it's used for Instagram, if it's used for YouTube?
Yeah.
So every time you do a trailer, you do like 5, 10 version of the same one?
Yeah.
And sometimes more.
Yeah, I think it's
Really?
Yeah.
30-something, 37 is now the highest number or something like that, so 37 versions. Because then you also do different languages.
Yeah. Different age rating, ESRB, PEGI. Yeah.
And that's not the fun part of the job, no.
This is the worst
I
part.
can imagine.
You just have to do it, but yeah.
As a user, when you see a trailer, you just imagine it's the only one, the only version you see,
Yeah.
watch, and there are no other one. So you don't see all the background, backstage
Exactly. Yep.
of the work. Yeah. What is your favorite part of it, of the job? You said it's not the good part.
Not the end.
Fact of doing multiple versions.
On my hand, it's when you are. This is the most difficult part and my preferred part at the same time. But when you do the structure of your trailer, not the end with all the details, but when you are trying to find what you're gonna tell in your trailer, this is the best part for me because you have to find the story, and this is what I like when I do trailers.
Yeah. So you're a narrative designer.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. When we do trailers, You, Roland, I don't know. What's your?
For me, it's actually the collaboration with the developer. When you get to work with people that you kind of click with, and then you make something together with them. When that flows and that back and forth is like, oh yeah, this is great. They get hyped when they send you a message saying like, or maybe just exclamation was like, yes. That gets me so excited. That is definitely the best part for me because I just like, I love helping them get to that point, and they will make me do a better job because they hype me and I hype them, and it's a back and forth. And then at the end, hopefully, we made something cool together. But yeah, that's my favorite.
I love both your answers so much. I'm about to quit my job and do trailers again. That was actually what I did before I didn't say before. You said it's weird, but I really enjoyed working with you, Sarah.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I'm glad to see that you are now at Raw Fury, and I hope you're enjoying your time there. Let me check my questions. Oh yeah, what made you want to do this conference together?
The covenant.
Yes, we call
Can you
this
explain the covenant?
the covenant. We call this the covenant. Well, basically, we were doing a conference together, as in a Raw Fury meetup with the entire company. Comes together in one spot every year, so we can hang out and
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, and it's needed because the company is spread out over the entire world. And
So everybody takes the plane.
yeah, well, depends on where we are, right? So, but we started chatting about things. I don't know. One with some friends, it was like, I always wanted to learn Chinese. Oh, maybe we should. If you want to learn Chinese and I want to learn German, maybe we could study together or something. And we started talking about the covenant. And for us, it was like, I really want to work on my presentation skills, stand in front of people, practice, English or whatever it is. So we're like, okay, let's do it, because I hate standing in front of people. Yeah, I do too. Great. We hate people. I mean, standing in front of people. Right? And then we're like, okay, let's do it. And we just did that. And we'd okay. So next time we have an opportunity to do this, we're going to do this. And then this came along.
We are.
And here we are.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So we decided to do something we hate.
Yes. To make it something we love, maybe.
Wow, that's really inspiring, actually. Face your fears.
Yep.
A lot of fear. A lot of fear.
When is your conference? Is it today? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Is it like jumping on off a cliff?
Yeah. But it's gonna be fine.
I'm sure you're super prepared.
No.
Next question.
Wait, what is my next question? This one I already asked. I said I worked also with trailers and communication, and I know those jobs can be really stressful. So with a lot of deadlines, and you have all those trailers, because sometimes when you work on the game, when you are a developer, most of the time you have one game to worry of. But when you work on trailers, you can, I'm not sure, maybe bigger companies you work on just one game, but on smaller companies you work on a lot of different games, and you do trailers for a lot of different projects. So you have many deadlines. So I already answered the question, actually.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just what you said.
Yeah, what are the worst challenges you face, and maybe the thing you like the least?
I mean, what you said about us doing, we work on a lot of different projects, so we have...
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because at Raw Fury, the games are all very different, so it can be hard to work on, Cassette Beast, and then on Backbone. This is very different. Different rhythm, different kind of game. It's
different tools.
Yeah.
Oh, different tools. Why?
Yeah, I mean, because not all games are they don't all make games the same. They don't have implemented exactly the same tools for us, so it can change a lot per game. But the worst part, I mean, it's the time crunch.
Yeah.
Working on a lot of projects, and we have a lot of releases coming up, and things move around a lot as well in the games industry. Like big games are moved, which will impact our smaller games maybe when they launch. So they might want to launch earlier or later, and that will change our deadlines. And then, oh no, we need to do this now. I guess that's the worst part. Like, you can be very rewarding and cool as well, but you have to band together and do something really like last minute. But most of the time, it's stressful.
Yeah. When it's last minute and when you don't have the material to work, it can be very complicated. When someone come and say, "Give me an idea," and you're like, "You have a trailer to do for next week. Give me an idea." No, I don't. It's hard to be, and it's hard to be creative all the time.
Yeah. That's the best one, I think. It tears on us. You're constantly being in a mode. So that's why it's important for us to be able to take a little bit like, so you can work like this instead of just because I've been there and it leads to burnout, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine. You talked about the tools. Do you have a process? Do you still use the same software, or do you adapt all the time? What changes?
For us, the tools that we use, as in what we edit with, is kind of set. Like, doesn't really matter. But the developer tools is what we're talking about. Like, what debug options do we have? How can we show the game?
Because when we work on the trailer, they send us a version of the game with a debug tool menu, and this menu change on every game.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So sometimes we have a very good debug menu. We can do what we want, all the things we want, but sometimes you have practically nothing to work with, so it can be hard.
So you record yourself in game? Okay. I used to work very differently. Like I do the recording, I send it to the person who has to cut it, and then there is just the editing left to do. So. But
right. Yeah, I mean, we started as a very small company. We've grown a bit, but all the video editors at Raw Fury are, very T-shaped, and we do every part of the process ourselves. And of course, we help each other when we need to, and we will outsource audio or music or stuff like that. But we need to be able to capture, edit, motion graphics, VFX, whatever it is, fix bugs. We need to be able to do all of those things to keep the costs down, and it's also a lot of fun doing something from start to finish.
Yeah, that's also really cool because you can capture whatever you like. Be very precise on what you need.
Yeah, because what you're saying, like if you capture and then you send that to someone else, that person only has that to work with. But I will create something and then I will put it in the timeline, and then I'll see that I need to recapture this with the camera going this way. Okay, so then I can just do that, right? And you don't need to ask someone else to do that.
It's quicker.
Yeah. It slows down the process.
Yeah, but it gives you more options, and it's more fun creatively to be able to shape things. And like, I'm going to do a drop here, and then I'm going to do a climax here. And,
You can also maybe enjoy a little bit playing the game. No, you don't?
No, it's not that I don't enjoy the games.
No, I mean,
but I don't have time.
Oh, yeah.
And after I made a trailer for a game, I don't want to play this game.
No.
Because I spend, 20 hours, no, maybe less, but capturing the game, so I can't play it.
Yeah, you spoil it for yourself. Like, it's a game that you really want to play, and then afterwards you're like, nah, I can't. Even though it's a great game, but you know everything, and you don't.
And you saw the backstage, so it's spoiled.
And we work on video game every day, so at the end of the day, I just want to do something else.
Read a book or watch a movie. Don't talk to me about video games anymore. Yeah, I can understand that. Is there a trailer or a project that stands out for you in particular?
Do you want to start?
Okay.
I'm thinking.
For me, so when I got to work on the Star Wars franchise, to work on Star Wars Battlefront, that was for me the, childhood dream come true. Because growing up with Star Wars, it was the coolest thing. I loved it to bits, and then when
pew, pew,
yeah. So getting to work on that was to me both the highlight of my career, I would say, like the best part, but it was also the worst, because it's just working with those types of licenses, the franchises, that are very, very strictly controlled. It can be very hard to navigate between what you can do, what you can show, and so on. And there's a lot of people that are, stakeholders, gatekeepers, that control every little bit of it. So it can be hard to be in that position of trying to show something, but wanting to do it your own way, but not maybe being allowed to.
Many constraints.
Many constraints, so a lot of stress and a lot of quick work. So, but that is definitely top and worst at the same time.
Is there, sorry, before you answer, is there less pressure in Raw Fury, or is it the same?
No, I mean the pressure is what I think we put on ourselves, and that we want to do right by the developers, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same as because these are not franchises like big IPs, these
Yeah, and huge expectation.
Yeah. So I think the pressure comes from ourselves to make the best thing that we can do, I think.
And for me, I think it's Norco.
Norco?
Yes, Norco. Not because of the trailer, but because of the game. Because when I started working in video games, I wanted to work on video games with important subjects, and Norco is one of them. And it was challenging because the game is slow. There's a lot of text. And it was one of my first projects at Pro Fury. And when someone says to you, so there's a game, very interesting, but a lot of text, very slow, practically no animations, please do a trailer. And I was, okay, I will try. But yeah, I really loved this one. And the dev is super, super nice. And yeah.
Because also worth mentioning that we kind of pick the projects that we want to work on. Yeah. So we have that bit of freedom because if you know that, like, I really love this genre, I really like this type of game, then you will be more invested in it. You will probably do a better job of showing it. So we allow ourselves to kind of pick and choose and really I really want to do this one. Well, okay. And then you get support from everyone else. It doesn't mean that no one else can work on it. We have all worked on all of the games, but we have a main driver kind of thing. And in case of Norco, I mean, it just felt like this was your game. It just felt like, Sarah, you're doing Norco, eh?
Yeah, I was about to ask you if it was a test, like you just arrived now, you have to prove your worth.
I was already in the company.
Yeah,
That's very cool to choose the project you want to work with. To work on. My English is leaving. I think there is a company that work like this, also for devs. I think Play work like this. Like they have the one who did Don't Starve. I'm not sure about that, but I think I heard some rumors that there are multiple projects and you can choose the one you work on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I really like the idea. I don't know if it works, but
sometimes you get too involved and.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's the curse, right? We get too involved. We can get feel too much for what we work on, and we have trouble letting go.
Yeah. For example, on Norco, I really loved my trailer, but the producer and brand manager wanted me to change some things, and I was, no, please don't do that. But
it's my baby.
And it doesn't mean that they're changing it just because they have valid reasons that you maybe don't think about. But then you try to fight it, but dude, does that really matter? And then it's hard. But yeah, your baby is your baby.
Yeah. I have the same problem with my work. I take things really too personally.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, you know, to be passionate about something, but also have some distance with it. Because also I think our jobs are, as you said, really creative. You have to give ideas and a big part of yourself. So it's hard on the side to give a lot of energy and love in your work and invest a lot. And at the same time, not take too personally and have a distance with it.
I had a colleague that worked at the IT department at DICE, and
So Roland always have a story to tell.
yeah, I'm sorry,
He has
but
100 stories.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I love
but
stories.
this makes sense.
Tell me.
This will make sense in a second. And so he was working with making computers, like for the company, right? And then one day I saw him just sitting and drawing, and he showed me a picture that he had drawn at home. And turns out he's an amazing artist, like properly amazing. And I was like, dude, why don't you work as a graphic artist on the games? And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to work with what my passion is, like, or with my hobby. So I work with this, and then when I go home, I paint and I draw and I get my creativity out. And I can get that creativity out, because if I did that for work, I would just go home and pass out on the couch, or, you know, right? And I was like, that's so true. Why don't I do that? So for me, it's the opposite. Spend creativity at work, and then you go home and you're like,
Do you do the same? Do you pass out after work? Do you have a passion?
Yeah, sports. I have a lot of different passions, so I try to not be in front of a computer
Oh yeah.
when I stop working. This is all the fun. This is my goal. So reading, go outside, do sports, walking my dog, I don't know. But something else than being in front of a screen. It's my goal. And it's hard to not be in front of your phone.
Yeah, especially when your passion is video games and you work on video games.
Yeah.
So you finish working and then you go home and you play video games.
Yeah.
Screen. Yeah. Mm-mm. That's also why I think I quit being a community manager. I had a big trouble with social medias, being on social media all day long, and then in the evening, I have to check my messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a very different career, if I may say, and you both joined Raw Fury. So you, Roland, you were working at DICE for, I don't remember how many
14 years.
Wow, that's a very long time.
Yes.
And it was a very big company, 400, no, more,
When
more
I
than
left,
that.
it was like 700.
700 people. And now Raw Fury, when you joined, was
6 people when I started, and now it's like 100.
Yeah. So you left AAA company for an indie size company. And you, Sarah, it's the opposite. You used to work alone at
Creative.
And now you are in a bigger company. So what are your experiences, and do you prefer it now than then, or do you miss sometimes your previous experiences?
What I like at Raw Fury is that I work with a team, wonderful team, on a lot of different projects. I learn a lot because I have the chance to work with people who work for AAA. There's also Marcus, who worked at Paradox. On what game?
Stellaris and Tyranny and
Skyline. Yeah, so big games. So I learn a lot. What I loved when I was a freelancer is that I had more time to rest between projects, because I could choose to not take a trailer for a week, for example, and rest a bit. This is the huge difference by working freelancer and working for a bigger company. And you, Roland?
Well, I've kind of alluded to it a little bit already, but working for so long, all the Battlefield games, and then Mirror's Edge, and then getting to work on Battlefront. I mean, after all that time, you get exhausted, mentally exhausted, and Battlefront was a very tough project. So I burned out at the end of it, and I had to take a sick leave, and I was gone from work for a year basically. And when I got back, my perspective had changed on the industry and on that big kind of workplace, and I just felt that I needed to move on and try something else, and because I just couldn't work in that environment anymore. So I decided to leave and just work on my own company for a bit, and I did for a little bit, but then a former colleague of mine asked me to maybe join Raw Fury, and I was like, indie games, what are those? Basically, going from that big blockbuster thing to indie games, I didn't really understand what can I do there? It should be very easy, and I don't know, I don't see the challenge in it. But then I realized that no, this could be fun. So yeah, I joined, and then it's been a lot of fun because you get to work on so many different projects with so many interesting and, as you said, deep and very important questions being answered, like stress or mental health or depression or whatever it is. They are trying to communicate something more than pew or move. So it felt like a good place to land, and Raw Fury was incredibly nice to me to be able to just come in, we'll take care of you. That's you do you, work as much or as little as you want, no expectations. We know that when you get back to your full potential, it's going to be fine, but no stress, no worries. And then they just let me heal while working at their company, which is incredibly gracious, very nice thing to do, right? So because they believed in me, and that's what I feel like all game studios employers should do, right? Otherwise, they're quick to throw you out when you're broken and you're past your due date, right? But that was what brought me into Raw Fury, and then we're growing the team all the time, and then this is the best thing about collaborating, doing conferences together. Yeah.
When you say Raw Fury will take care of you, I imagine a big teddy bear, hugging you.
Well, our CEO was kind of like a big teddy bear, and he did give me a lot of hugs, so I think that works. Yeah.
You talked about your own company, and it's actually something you share, if I can say that. You don't have company together, but
No.
you both have your own company. So Uko and yours, I forgot.
Epic Bubble.
Yeah. And is it something that helps you precisely to keep this balance? Do you still have it? Do you still work also outside of Raw Fury on personal projects or professional ones?
I took one project this year. That's it.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time.
Yeah.
And I have a 3-year-old now, so my time is gone. So I won't have any time to do any other project. But I did set it up so I could actually work on other types of projects when I was kind of getting fatigued by the battlefields, etc. So it did help me a lot to do some fun projects. But now there's just not enough time to work on them. But
okay. If you have some questions in the chat, I forgot to read it, but now I will. So don't hesitate. I know maybe not everyone speaks English in the chat, but I hope everyone understands what we say, especially with our French accents.
French accent.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, what about you? Do you still have a?
Yeah,
so
I-
you said one project.
Yeah, I still have my company, and I work on one project this year. That's it, because I don't have the time to work on other projects. Yeah, that's it.
But it's a nice thing when your employer, allows you to have something else, as long as it's not, competing or. So we can clear that with people saying, I need to, take this on maybe, and you'll get the time to do that. It's nice.
Where do you see yourself in like 10 years? If you had
Wow.
to imagine, would you keep your own company? Would you maybe have your own company, but with your own team, I mean? What would be your dream? Or would you say stay the same, working at Rofery?
I
don't know.
don't know. That's a good question.
Well, I think, working on having your own company, there's a lot of stress to
Yeah.
find work and, balance everything. I think it would be, for me, with my changes in how much I feel I have the energy for, I don't think I would. Maybe if it's like something totally different. Like
Yeah,
away from
yeah.
Pizzeria? Or...
Yeah, I mean, anything. But I mean, I just enjoy working like I do now. But hopefully not as much. Like getting older, I mean, who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I will do another job. I don't know. Maybe I will want to do something else, completely different. I really don't know.
And if it was a completely different job, what would it be? I said pizzeria, but
Something, I mean, I don't know, firefighter. I mean, something that matters sometimes.
Firefighter?
No, I mean,
Really?
Something that feels like you're doing something for for others. I can feel that at least. Like sometimes it's all fun and working it's an entertainment industry. Like, but at the end of the day, I mean, I would like to do something that maybe matters more, but also doesn't require me to be creative in front of a computer. Go out and do things for real, right? Because everything that we create is in a digital bubble that if you pull the plug, it's gone. But if you work on anything else like build a house, it's there, right? So maybe something like that. Build something that actually you can touch.
Yeah. Me, I think I would like to work with animals in a shelter or something, trying to save life.
Yeah.
Something that means, like you said. Yeah, I think.
before I wanted to work with you, and now I want to see you in 10 years. That's really cool. And I maybe it's a préjugé, it's a cliché, but I always imagine that people who work not as developers, but as, how can I say that, the side work jobs, like community management, marketing, trailers, even streamers, we always imagine that those people would love to work as developers. Is that something you feel, or like you would want to work on a game, or not?
I mean, I think everyone has that. Oh, I want to make a game before I die.
Yeah.
Now, because you can, it's not easy, but it's easier. Like it's never been as easy to grab a game engine and start doing things. And that's actually how I learned how to use Unity, for instance. Is that I downloaded Unity and I started making my little dream project demo just for myself. Nothing that I will ever do something with. It's just to learn, and I could do that. But making it's a big commitment and the people that are doing, like indie developers, quitting jobs or selling houses, and just like, I'm going to do this, changing their entire lives, just like, I'm going to do this, and then hope that it's a hit, or they make money back, because it's a big thing. So I don't know if we may have that in me, but it would be cool, of course.
Jeux vidéo. What?
Yeah.
They were talking about jeux vidéo?
You know something about that, don't you, Sarah?
What do they...
Which editing software do you use? Oh.
We are, first of all, disclaimer, you can use any editing software. But we are in the Adobe Creative Suite, so we use Premiere, and we use for editing, and then After Effects for compositing, visual effects, stuff like that. Photoshop for stills, stuff like that. But there are alternatives out there that I could almost recommend sometimes, because it can crash a lot, and we get very frustrated, and that's where you go into your darkest, like, I'm just gonna switch to something else now, and then at the end of the day, you kind of crawl back to what you know, because I've been using it for 25 something years now.
What is your point of view of Sony Vegas? Please tell me I'm not the only one to use it.
I never used it. I don't have an opinion.
It's horrible.
Okay, then.
I would recommend DaVinci Resolve for anyone who wants to use something that's free and amazing. But why I think we kind of like Adobe is that at least that ecosystem, when everything works between Premiere and After Effects.
Oh yeah, you can switch
Photoshop
between.
and,
it all blends together and works together, then it's amazing.
There is a question here. What do they need from developers to produce a good trailer? Moreover, if the game is not finished or fully playable? It's a very good question.
Interesting question, because we have a talk about this.
Yeah, tomorrow we have a talk about this.
But I guess we could just say quickly that we need tools to be able to make the best stuff possible.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always just start the game and start playing, but your mileage may vary. So debug tools are essential.
Debug tools.
And if you just want to implement two things,
Yeah.
allow us to be able to turn off the HUD, the UI elements, and two,
the music.
yes,
Please.
sound effects are okay, but not the music.
Not the music.
Because you use your own music for the trailer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we will talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
If you have any more questions, maybe we'll still have time for one. Maybe I have a last one for you guys.
Okay.
If you had to choose one game you would love to work on, to do trailer, a game that qui est déjà sorti.
Who is already released.
Already released or not yet? What game would you choose?
We have the same.
Kind of similar.
Yeah, we said
Really?
Zelda.
Yeah, I think we said Zelda
Oh.
when we were talking about this, because of, or it could be any of the other big, like Japanese franchise, or for me, Metroid maybe, like Metroid Prime. Make cutscenes for Metroid Prime would be lovely, but Zelda, I think.
Yeah, Zelda. For the universe, the story, the graphics, and we love Zelda, I think.
Yeah, and those games are fundamentally a bit different from what we produce in the West, and it's just something that we're not used to at the same time. So it would be a challenge as well how to show it. But yeah, I think so.
I imagine you bought Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
No. Not yet.
What? Oh, if we played it.
Here, the last one.
Oh, you bought it. The last one, yeah.
Yes. No. I'm not going to start it until I have time to fully enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because right now my kid wants all of my time. So But I will find it.
I can imagine it's hard to play with one hand and
Well, he plays.
with the
Yeah,
kid
but
with the other.
we play Super Mario together. But you know, he pushes one stick and I push the other ones,
Oh,
or he
that's so cute.
presses the jump button. Jump! Yeah, he's jumping. We suck, but we have a lot of fun.
So cute. I don't think we have a last question, so we can end now. If
Yep.
that's okay. Do you have a last wish? Last thing you want to say? Maybe where we can find you on. We talked about social media, so is there where can we follow you?
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter, LinkedIn. I don't really
LinkedIn.
use it, but I guess Twitter is the easiest.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
snail mail. I don't know.
Super cool. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Fanny.
joining me. Merci pour vos réponses. Thank you for your answers. It was very great to have you for 1 hour, and thank you for being here. And we will stay here, so ne partez pas. On enchaîne avec une seconde interview avec Laura Haynes, qui est programmeuse chez Ubisoft. I will translate. So next one is Laura Haynes, who is developer, programmer at Ubisoft.
I understood all that. That was fine.
Really? I'm glad. So good luck for your conference.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you, Fanny. Bye-bye.
Thank you to chat.
Bye.